Hey, buenos dias, que onda, que paso, amigos? John's Moto Garage. Welcome back to the channel. As you can see here before us, we have the Yamaha RoadStar Warrior 1700. It's Yamaha's performance cruiser muscle bike. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the bike. Is it really a Harley killer? Yes or no? If not, why not? How does it stack up? What's the deal with these bikes? What's the deal with muscle bikes, performance cruisers in general? Why would anybody get something like this, right? I mean, it's not as performance oriented as a sport bike, and it's not as comfortable as a cruiser, so it like combines the worst of everything. So we're going to talk about all that and more. We'll try and get a 0 to 60 in here as well. Without further ado, let's jump into it. The Yamaha RoadStar Warrior. All right, so if you're new to my channel, then thanks for tuning in. I have done other videos on this. Cool thing about motorcycles, honestly, at the end of the day, I don't really care what bike you pick, and you shouldn't either. You should pick the bike you dig, which I think is the case with most people. But we do often hear, you know, Harley killer, or how does it stack up to Harley, because Harley's like the big dog on the block. So we'll talk about that, as well as just how this stacks up in general. For starters, this is a 2002, and when you're looking at performance muscle bikes, there's a lot of them out there to choose from. Now you've got the OGs like the Yamaha VMAX 4-cylinder, the Honda Valkyrie, you've got the Honda Magna. Those are some of the originals, but those are 4, 6, and 4-cylinder motorcycles. When it comes to the V-twins, you've got the Metric Boulevard M109R, the Yamaha Warrior, the Honda VTX 1800F in particular. You've got your Triumph Rocket 3, that's a 3-cylinder. You got the Yamaha Raider, that's a gnarly one too. I mean, you've got a lot of options to choose from. Victory has a lot of options as well. Their Jackpot, the Hammer, and then of course Harley has their Harley Davidson V-Rod. Let's see if we can get a 0 to 60 here first. Oh man, I gotta say, dude, the brakes on this thing are awesome. That back end gets squirrely though, and again, I'm not like a professional drag racer by any means, so anyway, that's a good way to jump into it. So let's start out with the initial. Is it a Harley killer? Depends which Harley you're talking about. Initially, if you were to compare this V-twin, you know, air-cooled bike at the time in 2002 to Harley's, Harley had their 88 cubic inch bike, and that one, I put it down here, had 67 horsepower, 78 foot-pounds of torque. This one, as far as specs go, this one has got 80 horsepower and 104 foot-pounds of torque. Plus you got inverted front forks, dual discs in the front, suspension derived from the Yamaha R1. So compared to Harley's standard cruiser of the time, I think hands down, there's no two ways about it, this was a Harley killer. However, you can't forget that Harley in 02 also released their V-Rod, an 1130cc liquid-cooled V-twin monster bike. And the V-Rod's got 114 horsepower, 65 foot-pounds of torque. So compared to the V-Rod, it's actually not a Harley killer. But anyway, like I said before, it doesn't really matter. You pick the bike you want. Check out the race cars there. But when it comes to the V-Rod, if you stack it up against the liquid-cooled, smaller displacement V-Rod, I gotta say Harley takes the cake. Hey, speaking of muscle cruisers, man, I mean, that's what this bike is about. It's like a muscle car, dude. It's not the fastest, it's not the best handling, it's probably a little too big, you know, bigger than it should be, heavier than it should be, but it sure looks rad. I'm probably screwing these people up. That'd be pretty cool. So yeah, I've done a lot of videos on this, and pretty much my, like, the one thing I always say on this bike is it's the best, in my opinion, the best overall well-rounded performance cruiser. It's not the gnarliest of the bunch, but it looks cool. It's got plenty of power. It's got enough power to have fun, but not to be too scared of it. And sometimes the fastest isn't always the best, you know. The biggest and fastest isn't necessarily always the best, especially for your average layperson who's out there riding a motorcycle. And I think I'm just gonna leave it at that, you guys. So I'll let you guys be the judge. Is it a Harley killer or not? Does it really matter? I don't think it really does. Is it a fun bike? Heck yeah, it's a blast to ride around on. This really is a fun motorcycle. Pretty quick, gets up there and goes. Looks like I need gas here soon. So anyway, John's Moto Garage, I appreciate the support. Like and subscribe if you dig the channel, and let me know if you like the Yamaha RoadStar Warrior. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Adios, nos vemos.